It all kicked off at 3 in the morning. As everyone in Derna was asleep on Monday, a dam burst followed by another, unleashing a massive wave of water that washed entire neighborhoods into the sea and killed thousands as it swept down the mountains and toward the coastal city in Libya. Although figures from various Libyan government and humanitarian organizations have fluctuated and the death toll is anticipated to grow, it is thought that more than 5,000 people have died and hundreds more are still missing. Before the tragedy, there were about 100,000 people living in the eastern Libyan city of Derna, which served as the disaster's epicenter. Authorities estimate that 10,000 people are still missing. According to the International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, which reported Thursday that dead bodies were now washing back up on shore, buildings, residences, and infrastructure were wiped out when a 7-meter 23-foot wave hit the city. 500 individuals had passed away in one of the city's 2 districts, according to Mohammed Al-Kabisi, director of the Wada Hospital, while 1,700 had passed away in the other. In the hospital hallways, Reuters journalists observed numerous dead that were spread out on the ground. People glanced at the dead as more were taken to the hospital in an effort to locate missing relatives. Hicham Abu Chkuat, Minister of Civil Aviation in the administration that administers the East, told Reuters by phone shortly after entering Derna, "Bodies are lying everywhere in the sea, in the valleys, under the buildings. When I say that 25% of the city has vanished, I'm not exaggerating. There have been countless building collapses." Mustafa Salem, 39, claimed to have lost 30 family members. Almost everyone was asleep. Salem told Reuters that nobody was prepared. The 39-year-old Rahasasi and his wife and young daughter were able to escape the flood once the water reached an upper floor, but the rest of his family perished, he claimed. "Initially, we just assumed it was heavy rain," he added. "Then at midnight, we heard a loud explosion, and it turned out to be the dam collapsing." Upon learning that the majority of her family members were either dead or missing, a woman sobbed at Tripoli airport in northwest Libya. Walid Abdulati, her brother-in-law, stated that "we are not speaking about 1 or 2 people dead, but up to 10 members of each family dead." Karim Al-Obeidi, a passenger on a flight from Tripoli to the east, said, "I have never felt as frightened as I do now. I lost contact with all my family, friends, and neighbors." Several families that were swept into the sea in the city of Derna, according to a representative for the Interior Ministry, were being sought for by naval crews. A video shared on social media showed the fallen dam's remains at the confluence of 2 river valleys, 11.5 kilometers, 7 miles, upstream of the city, which were now encircled by enormous puddles of muddy water. In the video, there is a voice that can be heard saying, "There used to be a dam." Based on the pictures, Reuters verified the location. However, with hundreds dead and countless others still unaccounted for, there are concerns about why Libya was hit so much worse by the storm that also devastated Greece and other nations. Apart from the powerful storm itself, experts claim that a deadly confluence of elements, such as obsolete, decaying infrastructure, insufficient warnings, and the effects of the escalating climate crisis, greatly contributed to the calamity in Libya. Storm Daniel was responsible for the heavy rains that pounded Libya on Sunday. It began as a medicane over the Mediterranean Sea after sweeping Greece, Turkey, and Bulgaria with severe floods that claimed more than 20 lives. Medicanes are a relatively uncommon type of storm with traits comparable to hurricanes and typhoons. Before unleashing a deluge of rain on Libya on Sunday, the medicane became stronger as it passed across the Mediterranean's extremely warm seas. Al-Baida, a city west of Derna, received more than 16 inches, 414 millimeters of rain in 24 hours, setting a new record. While it's too soon to say for sure that the storm was caused by the climate crisis, experts are certain that it is intensifying storms and other extreme weather occurrences. Storms gain energy from warmer oceans, and a warmer atmosphere can contain more moisture, resulting in more intense rainfall. According to Hannah Cloak, a professor of hydrology at the University of Reading in the UK, storms are becoming more ferocious because of climate change. According to a study released last year by Libya's Seba University, Derna is prone to flooding, and its dam reservoirs have contributed to at least 5 catastrophic floods since 1942, the most recent of which was in 2011. Approximately 50 years ago, between 1973 and 1977, a Yugoslavian construction company built the two dams that collapsed on Monday. With a storage capacity of 18 million cubic meters, 4.76 billion gallons, the Derna Dam is 75 meters, 246 feet high. A 1.5 million cubic meter, 396 million gallon capacity may be found in the second dam, Mansa, which is 45 meters, 148 feet high. According to the city's deputy mayor Ahmed Madraoud, those dams haven't had repairs since 2002. However, it was well recognized that the dams had issues. In a report published by Seba University, it was said that the Derna dams had a high potential for flood risk and that regular maintenance was required to prevent catastrophic flooding. The study urged last year that officials take quick action to do routine maintenance on the current dams due to the condition in the Wadi Derna reservoir. It also discovered that the area lacked sufficient flora that could stop soil erosion, because in the event of a huge flood, the result will be catastrophic on the residents of the valley and the city. It went on to say that local residents should be made aware of the risks associated with flooding. According to Liz Stevens, Professor of Climate Risks and Resilience at the University of Reading in the United Kingdom, there are important issues to consider regarding the dam's design quality and whether the risk of really heavy rainfall events has been appropriately taken into account. It is obvious that the awful amount of fatalities that have occurred as a result of the dam burst would not have occurred without it, the woman stated. Stevens also told Science Media Center that the debris caught in the floodwaters would have added to the destructive power and that the dams would have initially held back the water, with their failure potentially releasing all the water in one go. Derna has previously suffered damage, with years of fighting upending its infrastructure. The city's infrastructure has deteriorated as a result of fighting against ISIS and later Eastern Commander Khalifa Haftar and his Libyan National Army, LNA, and it is poorly unprepared for floods like the one brought on by Storm Daniel. The majority of the casualties in Derna might have been avoided with better warnings, according to Petteri Tollers, director of the World Meteorological Organization of the UN. We would have avoided the majority of human casualties if there would have been a normally operating meteorological service, Tollers told reporters at a news conference on Thursday. They would have issued the warnings, and also the emergency management of this would have been able to carry out the evacuations of the people. Tollers continued by saying that the country's political unrest has complicated WMO efforts to collaborate with the Libyan government to enhance these systems. Even effective early warning systems, however, cannot ensure that every life can be spared, according to Cloak. She told CNN that dam failures can happen quickly and violently and can be very difficult to predict. This enormous amount of water is simply wiping out the city, according to Cloak. It is one of the worst floods ever, according to experts. Despite the fact that dams are often built to resist quite extreme occurrences, Cloak remarked that this is frequently insufficient. We should be preparing for unforeseen events, and then you add climate change on top, and that amplifies these unforeseen events, the author says. Global infrastructure, including dams and other types of buildings as well as water sources, is at risk from extreme weather caused by the changing climate. The extreme catastrophes that are headed our way, according to Cloak, we're not prepared for them. And that ends today's episode. You can suggest topics you want to see next in the comment section below. Please subscribe to Weather Collapse if you want to know more, and be updated on the latest news about natural calamities or disasters happening all over the world. And don't forget to like today's video. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.